So a few years ago, I went to some competitions where Killiminks was an unofficial event because they were like trying to test it to see if it could be an official event, and I actually really enjoyed it. Sadly, nothing ended up happening with that. There hasn't been a new event added since skewb in 2013, and of course, 3x3 with feet was removed recently. I would definitely be in favor of the WCA adding a new event. I think that would be really fun and exciting. So in this video, I want to look at some non-WCA cubes and basically evaluate them for how good I think they'd be as WCA events. Let's get started. So first, of course, we have Killiminks. This is the only event that I've actually unofficially competed in, and I really enjoyed it. I did pretty well in it actually, so I was actually hoping that it was going to get added as an event. It's not much of a challenge to learn how to solve. It's basically just like a simplified Megaminx. So if you know how to solve a Megaminx, then you already know how to solve this automatically. It's a pretty quick event. I'd say it probably wouldn't take that much practice to get your times under like a minute, but it still is a bit more complex than regular 2x2, which is good because then it's less luck-based. So overall, I would definitely rate this pretty high. The only issue with it, I guess, is that it's not very original because it's basically kind of the same thing as Megaminx, but I like that it's fast but not like too easy. So overall, I would probably rate it like an 8 out of 10. I guess that's the scale I'm going to be doing for this video, out of 10. I'd rate it like an 8 out of 10. I think it's going to end up being pretty high up because it's just a great event. I enjoyed it, and yeah. The next event I want to talk about is the Master Pyraminx. So Killiminks is a simpler Megaminx. This is like a more complicated Pyraminx. It's basically a 4-layer Pyraminx. This, of course, is significantly more challenging than Pyraminx. It's still not super difficult. I have figured it out. So, of course, it is a bit more time-consuming than Pyraminx. My best solve ever is like a few minutes. So it's not just like a quick and easy event, but in a way that's actually kind of good because it's not completely luck-based, where Pyraminx I would consider to be very luck-based. If I actually did know a proper method for this, I'm sure I could solve it faster, but like I said, it still doesn't take that long, even with the kind of inefficient method that I use. So I do like this event. I'd say I don't enjoy solving it as much as Killiminx, and I'm kind of looking for something that's a little shorter, maybe, but I'd probably rate this a 6 out of 10, and also it kind of, same thing as Killiminx, kind of lacks being original because it kind of is similar to Pyraminx. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for this. So when I was thinking about what other events I could do, I kind of decided I don't want something too simple that it's like completely luck-based, and I also don't want something that's too complicated that it would just take forever. I also want to find some options that are different from any other WCA event, kind of how like skewb was very different from all the other things at the time, which is why I think it was a good addition. Unlike Killiminx, it's like Megaminx, and Master Pyraminx, that's like Pyraminx. So the next thing I want to talk about is 2x2x3. I've said before, this is one of my favorite cuboids, one of my favorite non-WCA events. I just love this. It turns well, it's fun to solve, it's easy, it's basically solved like square one actually, but there are some issues with this, one being that I think it is a bit too simple, a bit too luck-based, a little bit faster than what I'm looking for, like the times are a little bit quicker than what I would want, and also it is a lot like square one. You don't really have to learn anything new to be able to solve it, which just doesn't make it as fun and exciting as like a completely new event where everyone kind of has to start from scratch and learn it. I'll be generous because I do really love this. I'll probably give it like a 5 out of 10. It's a lot of fun. It may be fun to compete in like unofficially or something, but I just don't think it would be that good as an official event. I think the times would get way too fast, way too quickly. So next we have the gear ball. I'd probably use a gear cube if that's what I had, but I literally don't have one. But this is pretty much the same thing. This is a fun cube. Definitely very different from anything else, any current WCA event, so I think that is a really good thing. It is pretty simple to learn how to solve though. There's only a few algorithms, and I don't really know how much more advanced you can get than just the basic method. I'm not aware of like any like advanced method because it is like a pretty simple cube. Time-wise, it's pretty good. I'd say it takes about a minute maybe for me to solve. So I think that is good, like time lengthwise. And I would say it's not super luck based. I mean, I guess you can get kind of lucky, but it's a bit more complex than something that would just be like primarily based on like easy scrambles and luck. So overall, I do think it is a bit too simple because I really think you only need to know like 2 or 3 algorithms maybe. But one really good thing about it is how unique it is, how completely different it is from any WCA event. Maybe if there was like a more complex version of this, that would be good or something. But I think I'm gonna rate it like, I'll give it like a 6.5 out of 10. Next we have the Ready Cube. I enjoyed this cube. I don't think it's too quick, but it's just way too simple. There's really only one alg needed to solve it, and I don't think there's really any way solutions could get more advanced than that, just because it's just a pretty simple, easy cube. So yeah, I think I'd rate it like a 4 out of 10. Next we have the Yilang time wheel. This is an interesting cube because for the longest time I like thought this was super hard. Like I literally thought this was the hardest cube in my collection, and it's not. It's really not that hard. It's basically just solving a 3x3 and then a 5x5. So it usually takes around 6 minutes. It's fun to solve, enjoyable, but pretty easy because you actually don't really have to learn anything new if you already know how to solve 3x3 and 5x5. And so it's just not really that exciting, you know, because you don't have to learn anything. And then also it takes a bit longer to solve than what I'm looking for. So I'd probably give this a 4 out of 10 just because I'm looking for something that takes like a third of the time this takes to solve or less. So yeah. And I think I'm going to bump the Ready Cube down to a 3 out of 10 because I would rather this than this. Next we have the 2x2x4. So I love the 2x2x3. It's a lot of fun, but I kind of just said that it was too easy and simple. So I want to talk about a bit more complicated cuboid. There definitely are like more steps to this because you have to pair them up and then you have to solve it, and you also kind of have to do the cube shape thing or just get it back into this shape. So there's a bit more you have to do. I would say it's definitely a lot less luck based. People aren't going to be getting like 1 second solves on the first comp. You do have to learn some algs for this, only like 1 or 2 algs, so I'd say it's still kind of more simple than what I'm looking for, and I honestly don't enjoy solving it that much. It might be partially because it just doesn't turn that well, so it'd be very hard to speed solve, but I'm sure if it became a WCA event, more companies would release versions of it that would turn much better. Timing wise, I would say it would probably be good. It would probably be around in the range that I want, like not insanely quick, but not like something that takes like too long. But yeah, I just don't really enjoy it, and it is kind of pretty easy to learn how to solve, and there's really only one way to solve it, so it's not like you can learn a more advanced method or whatever, so I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 10. So those are the events that I think could potentially be good options to add to the WCA. I'd love to hear what events you guys think would be fun to add, and I really hope you liked this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!